welcome back to Mr. Bravo's workshop. It is the next day after we did the black line and everything, and I uploaded the video. Now, I was just having a good look at this. Pretty happy with the way that it turned out. It looks pretty good. Not worried about this little blemish here. That'll come out as the process goes along. And then I sort of checked out the lines on this side, and then flipped it over very quickly and checked out the lines on this side. And I do think they are pretty much exactly the same. So, pretty happy with it. So what are we going to do now? Well, I know from the past that I can't just leave this black stuff on because it really mucks around with the next colours that go on top. So the first thing we're going to do is get rid of the black now. So let's go to the paint and put some undercoat on this. And that'll keep the black line, and then we'll move on from there. Yummo. Right after the coffee first. Okay, here we are back at the booth. So let's get the ship down and get it ready. So there is the ship with the black already on there, with the white line holding the black. The idea now is to get rid of some of this black, which will play around with some of the colours, especially the lighter colours. So we've just got the undercoat back out, and we're going to give this a very light blast just to remove the black. I've done this before in the past and realised if you don't remove the black, it kind of bleeds through the other colours. So now that the gun's set up, let's get ready. Is that thin enough? I don't know, I haven't checked it yet. Let me check it. So I was just using my test piece here. I sprayed a bit on there. I thought it was a bit dusty. Dusty meaning that it was a little too thick and sort of coming out, you know, not very nice. I put some more thinners in it. Now let me try it again. I will say that this gun was also blocked. Yeah, that's a lot better. From sitting around, and you may have to hit this a couple of times. I really don't want it dusty. When I say dusty, I don't know if you can see that on there. If it's too dry, it kind of comes out like and leaves like a dust mark on it, like up here, and I don't really want that. I just want the colour to remove the black. You might have to hit it a couple of times, and you can see why we're getting rid of the black, because it tries to bleed through the other colours. And obviously if you let this sit for a minute and then hit again at the start, each time it virtually makes it disappear. So with that, let's get on and make some of this black disappear. I've seen other people do this where they mask either side and just paint the black line on. I would probably do that on a bigger ship, but not these size ships. I'm happy doing it this way. It's a little more work, but I'm happy with the end result. So with that, let's continue. Let's go underneath. I think I've got to let more paint in, I think. Yeah, I think so. Here we go. And don't forget the tip as well. Let's go a little more. Yeah. I'll just show you partially on one side. That's better. Yeah, that's a lot better. This also helps fix up those couple of blemishes that I was telling you about. Let's keep rolling with this. Let's see if we can push this up in here a bit more. We'll do one side like I said, and then obviously I'll come back when the other side is done. But I think you're getting the general idea, which is when you basically never really put the black line on there. And we just want to cover it out, so when we do the light camouflage colours, that black is really not going to bleed through. Does it add layers? A little bit, but I have a way of sort of using a Scotch-Guard cloth. I get rid of that. Just going to let that dry. It's not completely covered, but it's a lot covered. And then obviously I'll hit it a little bit again and it should get rid of it. Okay, just like that, about 10 minutes has passed. I'm about to give it just one more light coat, only because we can still see some of that black kind of coming through. So now we just want to do just where the black is. And that should probably be enough. Remember, we are putting a couple more colours on top of this. Especially the camo is going to be like 3 or 4. And we just wanted to fade out that black. So anywhere you kind of really see the black now, just kind of fade it out a little bit. And that's probably going to do it. Let's go down the back a little more. And don't forget the very back corner as well. And I'm pretty happy with that. We're back to almost undercoat again, and obviously the hull's got some, more thickness to it because more layers of paint. So that is one side. I'll come back and I'll do the other side. There is the ship turned around, and I'll quickly do this one. Of course, there's our first coat. We'll let it dry. We'll give it another quick little coat. There's half the next coat, and I'll finish the rest. And there it is finished off. So we'll just let that dry now, and we'll check it out. Okay, just like that, half an hour has passed. Let's get it on the bench and have a bit of a look. Well, here we are back at the bench. Let's have a bit of a look. Yeah, you'd be hard pressed to tell this was black before, and it does have a covered black line. Now, some of you might be wondering, why do I do it this way? Now, the main reason is I find the black just gets absolutely everywhere. Even the overspray, the dusting of it, the black just, every time I paint black, it just seriously gets everywhere. So, I prefer to cover it like that, cover it up, and then later on we're working with the lighter colours, and that's it. Imagine doing all that camouflage and then you have to paint the black line, and then it's just, black everywhere. And it does. Even yesterday it was on my hands, even inside. It's got black dust and other bits and pieces. I just find it just makes the job messy. So now we're back to pretty much where we started, and we have a black line on there. We are at the camouflage stage right now, so let's get ready for that. I've been trying to upload yesterday's video to YouTube this morning, and I don't know if you guys know, but in the background it takes a bit of time to edit, render your video, then you have to upload it, and do a few other bits and pieces. Now, I've got it all the way up to uploading to YouTube, and it would not process it. Processing is basically what happens after the video is up. It generally takes about 2 hours to upload a video here, and then somewhere around half an hour to 45 minutes for the processing. Anyway, it didn't happen, so I had to redo it. So while I'm doing this, I'm also redoing that. So where are we now? Well, I think I'm going to do things a little bit differently this time. The last time I did the red first, while the red looks good, it did get a little bit scratched up. So I think what we're going to do this time is flip it over, much like this. And then basically let's cover what would be the hull, so we can put the camouflage on this section here. So I've got the trusty green tape out. We'll cut it in strips again. It's just easy to work with strips. And then basically we'll start covering up the bottom Where's my scissors gone? They were on the bench yesterday. Oh, there they are, there. So basically, we just want some strips like that. And what are we after? We got that line. The line for the camouflage, and we just basically want to cover that up. Now, the only thing is, it's a 2mm line, and you don't want to be covering it up where you're going over it. I had some trouble with this last time where the tape let go and I reused it and didn't use it. I think this time here I'm just going to cover it up just like that and just keep going with it all the way around. So basically, let's put a few more of these on. I'll do one more on camera and then we'll do the rest off camera. Why do I use small strips? They're just easier to handle. And again, let's put that one on there. And then you need to lift it up and stay within your 2mm line all the way across your piece. Like that. So you end up with something like, can I zoom in even more there? Yeah, but can we zoom in where we got focus? Yeah, you can see the other line poking through underneath. Probably a little bit high just here, but it doesn't really matter because we're still underneath the line. What we're trying to do is cover up the hull so we can expose this side for painting, and then we'll reverse it. We'll cover up the camouflage side, and then, yeah, we'll paint this. Although, just thinking about that out loud, if we have to then cover this, there's always a chance that you can damage this paint with the tape. Maybe am I better off staying with the original way? That is a good question. That is a very good question. Because, you know, once you've done the camouflage, that's it. You don't really want to be mucking around with it too much more. Do not know. Let's try it. We did it once the other way. Let's try it this way and we'll see how it goes. I mean, if it fails, it fails. We'll just cover it back up and redo it again. Okay, now that side's done, let's turn it over and do the other side. There it is now turned over. Let's continue. Okay. Okay, there we have it. Let's roll it over. So basically what we've got now is the hull side covered where the red's going to go. Oh, no, I actually like to call this colour, the one I brought for this, like a crimson red. Some people don't know what a crimson red is. Probably a word long lost, but it's from my generation. So yeah, anyway, that's the hull. So what do we have now? So what do we have left is the parts that we want to paint in the camo separated by the black line. And of course I've squeezed all the ends here. Not to worry about this part of the hull. It's probably not going to see any paint anyway. So yeah, that's where we're at, just like that. How are we going for the episode? Let me have a look. Okay, we're not quite there, so let's continue. Okay, let me just get set up. So here we have the ship facing its current direction with the bow on the left, and the bow is on the left on the plans. I'm trying to keep the light out of it, which is why I'm bucking it this way. And in actual fact, this might be a time to bring in the paper one where it's not so shiny. While it's not as clear as in the definition of colours, as in where they all go, you get the general colours there, which is what I'm trying to say. Okay, so we have the red now covered. We have the black line. So what's left with the camouflage? Now, with all camouflage, you can do this any way you like. I'm just showing you how I do it. So if I say to do something this way, I'm not really meaning that. I'm just saying how I would do it, and you're more than welcome to follow along if that's what you wish to do. So I always believe in starting with the lightest colors first. And the lightest color on this one here is what I've been calling the white, which you and I both know is kind of like a light grey. So what we need to do now, we need to cover all of this section here in the white. So virtually going to paint, you don't have to paint the whole lot, but is it worthwhile? Let's have a look. No need to waste the paint. Hang on a second. Sorry about that. I just went and got a drink. We actually might not need to do that. As you can see on the plan here, let me bring in the plan a bit closer so you can actually see it. On the plan here, we only really need to paint backwards of this line here. This line here, which is the same line as just here. So anywhere further back from that, we could probably just paint the rear. And the white kind of goes past this. And this is what I did last time. I ended up going, you know what, I'll just paint the whole lot. Let's just paint the whole lot. So we're going to do that on this one. I think what we might do is we might call it a day here on this episode. I could muck around and say, you know, let's mark out exactly where we're going to paint the white or not. I did find it easy in the end, and you didn't get so much wishy-washiness, because when you put the white on, you're technically changing the whole color again, and then when you put the next color, you're changing it all again, and basically you're keeping the colors uniform. So I think what we're going to do is on the next episode, we're going to get set up to paint the first color of the camouflage, the white, on the rear, and you know, most of this, the rear is going to be kept quite a lot through here. And then, yeah, so I think what we'll do is we'll call it here. I hope you enjoyed this episode. I'd never done that for really the filming stuff where you're on and off, on and off. Hope it worked. And hopefully I'll see you on the next one. Bye for now.